We're going to share a brief PowerPoint with all of you so that you can understand how to participate in this project. And obviously at the end, we're going to answer all of your questions, and we will make the PowerPoint available to you as well. We are very excited to share this information with you today. I had the pleasure of meeting many of you in Arizona at the Semana Binacional de Salud event. And so many of you are already aware of this process, but we wanted to make these information sessions available to you. Last week at the first session, we had 69 participants, so we had a robust turnout. And today, I think we have nearly 20 of us on the call. So we're very excited to have all of you. In order to get started, let me first give you a little background. The U.S.-Mexico Border Philanthropy Partnership is the community partner agency of the Consulado General de Mexico here in San Diego. Since 2016, we have run the Ventanilla de Salud program with our friend and colleague, Cecilia Guzman, who is simply extraordinary. I know many of you know her. In 2018 and 2019, we supported an effort with the Comisión Fronteriza de Salud to provide technical assistance support to all of the Ventanilla programs around the country. We sent all of your organizations the iPads to support the Ventanilla de Salud outreach. So we're excited to continue to be a friend and supporter of this very, very important work across the United States. Earlier this year, we received a generous gift from the David and Lucile Packard Foundation to support COVID-19 Ventanilla de Salud relief efforts. As a fiscal agent to this project, we know how hard it is to raise resources to continue to allow this project to be successful in the 51 communities and regions across the United States. And so our intent was to share a significant part of this grant with all of you. And so in order to launch a trusted, safe, and effective delivery of coronavirus information, testing, and vaccinations for the Hispanic, Latino, and undocumented community in the United States, we launched this program. So we want to help you significantly increase the number of people in our community to be vaccinated. And our goal is to do 1 million vaccinations. And I believe from our good friends and partners at the EMA that we already have 100,000 vaccinated. So we only have 900,000 people more to go. As all of you know, in 2020, the Ventanilla de Salud program collectively, we provided 3.1 million people's health and wellness support across the United States. 3.1 million of the 5.5 million undocumented Mexican nationals that reside in the United States came to us for health and wellness services, and we all delivered. And so we are excited to proceed to the next slide. Malaura, next slide, please. Our organization is based in San Diego, and we are the only binational group along and across the 2,000-mile border region that unites a vibrant network of national, regional, and local leaders and organizations who are making a difference on both sides of the border. Next slide, please. We support a network of organizations that build prosperity through leadership, collaboration, and philanthropy in the U.S.-Mexico border region. Next slide, please. The David and Lucile Packard Foundation has awarded us a grant to significantly increase COVID-19 vaccinations among Hispanic, Latino, and undocumented community members here in the United States. We are inviting all of you today to submit a proposal to support your efforts locally to the amount of $31,000. This is intended to boost your COVID-19 response in your community. We are doing this in support with support from the Mexican Ministry of Health, the Foreign Ministry, the EMA, and the Mexican Consular network across the US. Next slide, please. As I've mentioned, we are looking to exponentially increase COVID-19 vaccinations for our community, and we want to help you so that we can all get 1 million people vaccinated across the country. Next slide, please. So we're inviting you today to submit a proposal. we want to hear from you as to how you can meet the one or more of these objectives. We want to engage our community in awareness to reduce the stigma and other activities focusing on COVID-19 relief support to Hispanic, Latino, and undocumented community members here in the United States. We want to educate or culturally inform our partners, our community members in the US on the importance of getting the vaccine. We want to develop culturally, linguistically, and unique programs and or outreach initiatives to boost your COVID-19 response, to enhance programmatic support for our community. And finally, to conduct trainings, meetings, or community events to increase COVID-19 vaccinations here in our community. Choose one of these areas and you will do well in our support effort. The application guidelines. It's really simple. We are not asking you to fill out a report. We want you to write to us and create a proposal that 2 to 3 pages that will justify how the funds we would provide to you would strengthen your programmatic efforts for COVID-19 services. Number 1, give us a detailed description of the project. We need to describe new and innovative activities and strategies you will carry out, how you will help them overcome barriers so that we can overcome the hesitancy amongst these population groups. How will you be able to leverage these funds to get additional funds from other donors? And obviously, how many vaccines do you think you could provide to the Hispanic, Latino, and undocumented community during a 12-month period? Next slide, please. The second point in your application is tell us who you are. Give us a brief history of your organization and a description of your mission. Now, we're only looking for this whole proposal to be 2 to 3 pages, so we're not looking for a 20-page response from you. Tell us about your population and geographic area that you will serve. And what is your timetable? Now, in order to understand the timetable, if you'll remember from my presentation at the Semana Binacional Health Meeting in October, just a couple of weeks ago, you were all told that the expense to attend Arizona's meeting could be billed to this project. So your airplane ticket, if you had hotel or your per diems or whatever it was that you had to spend out of your Ventanilla budget to get to that meeting, you can bill those expenses to this project. Obviously, the timetable, we're going to give everybody 12 months, but we're starting in the month of October of 2021, and you have until the end of October of 2022 to complete your effort. Obviously, tell us about the expected results from us giving you this money and how you intend to evaluate or measure. It can be qualitative or quantitative. And then how much are you asking? Give us a brief budget with only the following budget items. So if you need this money for technical assistance, if you need this money to do trainings, meetings, and community events, if you need to purchase PPE or medical supplies, if you need to do outreach and communications, whether you need to bring on consultants or you need to hire nurses to come in and provide the vaccines, if you need to keep the roof over your head going, you can use the money to pay for your facility or your rent. If you need to cover the operation expense to keep you people all employed, that's okay. We want you to put this money to good use. If you need to travel, like I said, the meeting in Arizona can be covered under this. There may be other travel you need to do to get to, if you do consulados móviles, you can use this money for any of these areas. Next slide, please. Obviously, we want to include general information, list any additional partners and sources of support you have, and the qualifications of your key personnel. Next slide, please. So what can you use the money on? You can do testing. You can do vaccines. You can distribute PPE. You can do public service announcements in social media. You have a radio station in your community that you need to do some advertising on. You can use the money for that. Obviously, if you want to conduct media interviews, organizing community conversations, they can be done virtually or in person. Here in San Diego, we've done some very exciting webinars with the chief medical doctor of one of our leading hospitals that serves this community, with Dr. Andres Smith. He's just extraordinary, and we've done several information sessions with him because he's a trusted voice for this effort, and he was extraordinary. If you have communication strategies or campaigns you want to do about raise your shirt sleeve and get, that's a very successful program that was done here in San Diego, and get vaccinated. As I've already mentioned, your expenses related to the Arizona trip for the meeting with Semana Binacional de Salud, with all the Ventanillas present. And if you need to give out incentives, we had some requests at the session last week, several groups, they do incentives for vaccines. You can use this money for that. Quite simply put, we know you know what the needs are. We know you know how best to reach your community. We know you know what motivates them to do what we need to have happen across our community. So we are excited to hear from you. We trust the work you're going to do in this community, in this effort. And so we're excited to partner with you and to provide these opportunities. Next slide, please. Now, to be eligible, these are important steps. The applicant organization. I know many Ventanillas operate as, Ceci is my employee here in San Diego, is the Ventanilla coordinator. So in our case, the U.S.-Mexico Border Philanthropy Partnership is the 501c3 organization in good standing with the Internal Revenue Service. So that must be the agency that we hear from. So we cannot just get a proposal. It must be backed up by a 501c3. So your community agency appointed by the consulate to run the Ventanilla is who we need to hear from. You must be a nonprofit community organization leading the Ventanilla at the local Mexican consulate, or health-related organization that sponsors the health and wellness program of the Ventanilla here in the United States. Point number 3 is very important. We all get a financial support from the email each year. In this year, I know it's come out late. I know the monies have arrived at all the consulates. It's possible your Ventanilla has not yet received that financial support. Your Consul General is expecting to hear from you. They must pay you EMA's financial support prior to you submitting for this grant. It's a requirement. The consulate in your community must pay out the money from the EMA for you to qualify for this grant. So you have 2 weeks. Today's only November 2nd. Let's make sure that your consulate in your local community knows that you are submitting for this resource. They're aware of it because the EMA communicated to them, and they understand that they have to make their annual contribution to your effort. And you must show us proof of payment. So you must show us that you've been paid. The copy of the check in your bank account or proof of a bank deposit. You must provide that to us. Number 4, obviously, all of us are working hard to support COVID-19 services through the Ventanilla. Tell us what you're doing to show that you are working in this area. It's possible there's a Ventanilla that is not working on COVID-19, and we're not going to support the effort. This money is intended for COVID-19 services. Obviously, tell us about the local leadership and the local financial support that you receive. And obviously, by receiving this grant, you have to comply with the narrative and financial requirement at the end. The reason we shut off the program in October of 2022 is because in December of 2022, we have to tell the Packard Foundation how we did. How many people did we vaccinate? What did our partners, the 51 community agencies, the Ventanillas de Salud across the United States, what are all the amazing things you all accomplished? We have to tell that story to the Packard Foundation. And so we need the month of November to review your report so we can do our report to them. So we're very excited about this, and we know you're going to do great work. Let's go on to the next slide, please. So please, in your proposal, send us your IRS determination letter. Send us your financial record, your audited financial, your 990, a list of your board members, and your organizational budget. You have until Monday, November 15, to submit your proposal. Please submit via email. It's the easiest way. And send it to grants@borderpartnership.org. This is the easiest way. It's a brand new email. And that way we only get the information in this email address are your proposals. So we are excited to hear from you. And in the next slide, so your IRS letter, hold on. So your IRS determination letter, your financial reports, your 990, your list of board members, and your organizational budget. Monday, November 15th. Next slide, please. So remember, you have 1 year to spend the money. So your financial and narrative report is due to us on October 31, 2022. Many of you will ask, when are we going to pay out the money? It is our goal to pay it out by the end of December of 2021. It's possible it might spill into the middle part of January. Our board has its annual meeting on January 14. It's possible it might take up until that date, but we're going to work very hard to get you paid as quickly as possible. Next slide, please. So here is our contact information. Communicate with us. If you have questions, concerns, comments, and we don't get an answer today or even before you submit your proposal, reach out to us. We want to hear from you. We are your partner in this activity, and we know just how hard this work is because we've been doing it ourselves since January of 2016. So for 7-8 years, we've been leading the Ventanilla services here in San Diego. I'm so proud to work with Cecilia Guzman. She's simply extraordinary. When we started this, we were dealing with about 12,000 people a year, and we've grown it to over 30,000 people a year. So I know you guys all have similar success stories, and we want to support you. So I'm going to pull it up and see all the different questions. I see a first question that says, if we are a small organization under $100,000 in revenue, we don't have to do an audit. That's okay. Send it. It's why it says send your financial or audited financial. As long as you have a financial, but do send your 990. We want to see the 990 form is a minimum. I see another question here from Heido. Can the money be used to support the volunteer work undocumented persons do under this project? Stipends and or paying rent instead of salary? Yes, yes, yes. Put the money to work where it's most needed to achieve getting the most people vaccinated. It's a great question, Heido. Thank you, Salid, for sharing the presentation. And I don't see any other questions, but I'm happy to open it up. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the nice comments in your saying welcome. Happy to answer more. We have a question. If we work with multiple Ventanilla de Salud, can we submit more than one application? One for each? Absolutely. We are budgeted to support each and every Ventanilla de Salud. So if you are an amazing organization like our good friends in Texas at the Migrant Clinician Network, who support, I believe, 4 Ventanilla programs, we want to help all 4. In my un fuerte abrazo para Delfina and all the great people just doing extraordinary work. And thank you for taking on the responsibility for being that agency for more than one Ventanilla program. It's a big obligation for you. And if you're doing 4, that means we're going to send you $31,000 times 4, as long as your proposal meets the requirements. So that's a great question. Thank you so much. I see that question. Is there a specific title in the subject line? Put grant proposal, COVID-19 Ventanilla de Salud. It's only coming to this, we'll know who you are. So Kimmy, thank you for the question. Can the University of Arizona make an application for all Border Ventanilla de Salud? No. Only the Ventanilla de Salud's programs can apply for this money. If the University of Arizona is the fiscal agent for a few of the Ventanilla programs, I know you do it probably for Phoenix, so you can apply for Phoenix, but you cannot apply to support everybody else. That just takes money away from the other Ventanillas. So I'm happy to have a private conversation with the people at the University of Arizona about this effort. Next question. Are there any other questions? Jairo, you're very welcome. Are there any other questions that, can we turn on? Malauda, I don't know if the people can participate and ask me the question specifically, or does it have to be through the chat?
If you want to raise your hand or ask for in the chat window to participate, we can open your microphone.
And I do want to give a shout out to my colleagues on this call, Malauda Munoz and Celit Panuelos. They've just been wonderful friends and colleagues and partners in this effort. And I'm honored to get to work with them every day. So I appreciate you both very much and thank you. Are there any hands raised, Malauda? My organization with Ventanilla de Salud has a lot of rules and we cannot apply, but can I apply for other organization? Patty Esparza, I would like to invite you to call me privately and we will have a conversation. You can reach me on my cell phone, 317-989-0123, 317-989-0123. Please contact me and we can have a conversation. I'm going to ask Patty, just for your information, that I'm going to invite the Consulate of the Consulate General of Mexico to participate in that conversation. So ask the Consul for Asuntos Comunitarios to join us on a call. And if there's agreement for that consulate, we will proceed, but the consulate must be involved. You're welcome, Douglas. And I appreciate your work in Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas has a special place in my heart. My sister was Candy Carey and she passed away a few years ago, but she was the director of the American Red Cross in the state of Arkansas. And Arkansas is a special place. What is the cutoff time? End of day. So you have until midnight on November 15 to submit your proposal. Just make sure it's dated by November 15. Just get it to us on November 15. You all have at least 2 weeks. This shouldn't take you long to tell us all the amazing things you're going to do with the resource and why we should fund you. We want to fund everybody. So just do the best you can. If you have questions, reach out to us. This is meant to be a good thing. So we trust that you're all going to do a great job locally and just make amazing things happen. We're all very committed. We're all mission-driven organizations, and we're all committed to this work. So we believe this will there be a written grant report form? What we're tracking is how many people did you vaccinate? It's really simple. How many people did we vaccinate? How many events did you hold? But how many people are we vaccinating in our local community? That's what we want to know. We want to get 1 million people vaccinated. So help us track. Let's get 1 million people vaccinated. That's the answer. We want 1 million people to get vaccinated in our communities. So I'm being asked, can the Border Health Commission apply for the resource? No. This money can only be given to a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in the United States. I cannot give the money to a government agency. It is expressly forbidden in the grant agreement that we signed with the Packard Foundation. I can only give the money, and I told them we would support the Ventanilla de Salud. I would have to secure other resources from a funder outside of this effort to be able to support the commission. I love the commission. I love Gudelia Rangel. I love the people. They're extraordinary, doing amazing work, but they are not a recipient. They're not an eligible recipient for this effort. Okay, I've seen the same question about the commission a few times. So any other questions? Any other hands raised? Malauda, can we put the last slide back up so that people, do we need to send the MOU with the consulate? No. You should, in the form that the team has provided everybody in the RFP, you're going to tell us some information. So we're going to know which consulate you're working with. And so in the case of that organization that has multiples, you're going to fill out that form for each consulate so that we know which consulate you're tied to. Here's my contact information again, my email address, our phone number. It's my office number. I'm also happy to have you have my cell phone number. I'll repeat it again, 317-989-0123. Once again, my cell phone is 317-989-0123. You can also find me in WhatsApp at that same phone number. So look forward to receiving any questions that may arise. I'll open up the chat one more. Any other questions? Well, we want to thank all of you for joining us today. Best wishes to you as you complete your proposals. I believe this is all rather straightforward. I don't think you'll have any difficulties completing this information, but we look forward to, and Leslie Martinez is asking if we could share the recording of this meeting. Salith, can you make that happen? If it can happen, and my colleague Salith will be able to take care of it.
Hello, yes, we'll send the recording shortly after, no, probably tomorrow. We need to set it up in YouTube. We'll send it tomorrow to everybody.
So, and the recording for the first session last week, we should send that to everybody from last week. Any other comments or questions? Very good.
As a reminder, we sent the presentation in the chat box for everybody to consult.
Okay, I'm gonna, then Malauda and Salith leave the session on in case somebody sticks around, but we're gonna sign off. Thank you all. Best wishes to you. If you have any comments or questions, please let us know. So good luck to all of you, and thank you for all that you do. Truly are doing heroic work for our community, and we appreciate you very, very much. We look forward to supporting you and your efforts so that we can get 1 million people vaccinated against this pandemic, which has impacted the entire world. Thank you all so much. Dios los bendiga. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Ladies, please stay on. Salith, please stay on.